Sandy, listen, the man is just about to say it.
Yeah, let's everybody listen.
The USA Radio Network presents the greatest radio programs of all time.
Henry Aldrich. Coming, Mother.
The CBS Radio Workshop, dedicated to man's imagination, the theater of the mind.
This is classic radio theater.
Want to get away from it all?
The FBI in Peace and War.
Fibber, McGee, and Molly.
The unexpected.
The unexpected.
The unexpected.
Now here's your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends.
A short-run summer series, the Encore Theater, starring Robert Taylor in this edition, Men in White, from 75 years ago today, July 2nd, 1946, Man in White. And we thank you for tuning in on this Friday, 2nd day of July, the middle day of the year, 183rd day, 182 remaining, 182 days before this date, 182 days after, and it falls on the same day of the week as New Year's Day. Now, the Continental Congress adopts a resolution on this date in 1776, severing ties with Great Britain, though a public declaration of independence would not be formally printed for the masses for another 2 days, July 4th. John Hancock signed the Declaration of Independence on this date in 1776, and in 1777, Vermont became the first state to abolish slavery. The self-contained gas mask patented on this date in 1850, and in 1881, Charles J. Guiteau shot and fatally wounded President James Garfield, who would die from infection September 19th. Sterilization in 1881 was not a commonplace thing. Congress passed the Sherman Antitrust Act on this date in 1890. 48 died on this date in 1917 in rioting in East St. Louis as lower-paid black laborers clashed with whites. Look at how far we've come since 1917. In 1937, Amelia Earhart and navigator Fred Noonan disappeared over the Pacific Ocean in 1937 while attempting to make the first equatorial round-the-world flight. An object speculated to be a UFO crashed near Roswell, New Mexico on this date, though the U.S. Air Force claims it was a weather balloon. In 1962, the first Walmart store opened in Rogers, Arkansas, and in 1964, President Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which prohibited segregation in public places.
My fellow Americans, I am about to sign into law the Civil Rights Act of 1964. I want to take this occasion to talk to you about what that law means to every American. 188 years ago this week, a small band of valiant men began a long struggle for freedom. They pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor, not only to found a nation, but to forge an ideal of freedom, not only for political independence, but for personal liberty, not only to eliminate foreign rule, but to establish the rule of justice in the affairs of men. That struggle was a turning point in our history. Today, in far corners of distant continents, the ideals of those American patriots still shape the struggles of men who hunger for freedom.
We have come so very far in discrimination and civil rights. Yes, we have a ways to go, but it takes time to make that change and generations to make that change. And it's happening every day. And we have to remember the past. If we don't remember the past, we are doomed to repeat it. In 1974, President Nixon addressed the people of the Soviet Union.
Our two nations bear a shared responsibility toward the entire world. And we too must plant now so that future generations will reap a harvest of peace. A peace in which our children can live together as brothers and sisters, joining hands across the ocean in friendship, and ushering in a new era in which war is behind us, and in which together in peace we can work toward a better life for our people and for all people.
The address made on the occasion of President Nixon's visit to Moscow in connection with the joint U.S.-Russia space project. North and South Vietnam reunited on this date in 1976 to form the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. The first coin to honor a woman, the Susan B. Anthony dollar, introduced in 1979. In 1980, President Carter signed a bill requiring registration for military selective service.
It's a precautionary measure. It's designed to make our country strong and to maintain peace. I would like to ask the support of all Americans for this move. Americans in the age that will be registered and Americans of all ages who believe in a strong country, who believe in patriotism, who believe in maintaining peace through strength.
Carter stressed while registration was mandatory, there was no required service yet. And one of the things I want to, as I vaguely recall, there was a recent Supreme Court challenge to this, saying that women were not required to register, but allowed to serve. And I have to agree that if women want equality, they should be willing to serve. Police released their final album, Synchronicity, on this date in 1983. It would spend 17 weeks at number one on the album charts. Andrei Gromyko appointed the chairman of the Presidium of the Supreme Soviet of the Soviet Union in 1985. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets released to the public in 1998, the second installment to the Harry Potter book series. In 2002, American businessman Steve Fossett became the first person to fly solo around the world nonstop in a balloon. And President George W. Bush commuting the sentence of former aide Scooter Libby, sparing him from the 2.5-year prison term in the CIA leak case. Among those passing away on this date in history, Ernest Hemingway, Michael DiBiase, the father of the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, and he died in the ring, as I recall. Betty Grable, also Lee Remick, Andrei Gromyko, the Soviet politician, Fred Gwynn of Car 54, Where Are You, and the Munsters, Jimmy Stewart, we lost him on this date, such a wonderful man, Mario Puzo, the author, Jan Murray, a very funny comedian, Beverly Sills, the soprano, and automotive executive Lee Iacocca, all passing away on this date in history. This is the birthday of Thurgood Marshall, the Supreme Court Justice, conductor Frederick Fennell, actor-singer Ken Curtis, who probably best known as Festus in the Gunsmoke TV series. Also, Dave Thomas of Wendy's fame, The Temptations' Paul Williams, songwriter Gene McFadden, and singer Jenny Rivera, taken from us way too soon in a plane crash. The woman who made "Kiss My Grits" a very popular saying, Flo from Alice, Polly Holiday, 84 years of age. The NASCAR man known as the King, Richard Petty, also 84 today. Seinfeld producer Larry David, 74. The ex of Mick Jagger and Rupert Murdoch, Jerry Hall, 65 years of age. The hitman Bret Hart, 64 years old, along with referee Charles Robinson, 57, best known as Little Nate to us old folk. Scotty 2 Hotty, former wrestler, now a WWE trainer, 48. Michelle Branch, little bit of this, little bit of that. It's all in the game of love. Michelle Branch, 38 today. From High School Musical, Ashley Tisdale, 36. Lindsay Lohan, 35. And Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad, Margot Robbie, 31. Those some of the people who celebrate the second day of July as their birthday. And if this is your birthday...
Hi, we're the 4 freshmen, and we just want to say, Happy birthday to you!
Screen actor Robert Taylor, starring in Men in White, an episode of Encore Theater from 75 years ago, July 2nd, 1946, here on Classic Radio Theater on a Friday.
You know, if you feel like you're stuck with a healthcare plan that isn't affordable or you simply don't like it, right now is a great time to switch to MediShare. The typical family saves $500 a month when they join MediShare, and what's more, They like it. Medishare has double the customer satisfaction rate compared to the typical health insurance plan. That's double. So you get a massive network of providers to choose from. You get telehealth services, and Medishare is the most trusted name in healthcare sharing. It's been around for more than 25 years, shared more than $4 billion in healthcare bills. Here's why now really is the time to make the switch, too. You can start saving each month, which is huge, but right now, they'll waive your joining fee. So you'll save another $170 right off the bat. But again, it's a limited time offer. You got to call now. And it only takes 2 minutes to find out how much you'd save by switching. Here's the number, 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE, 833-34-BIBLE.
The best companion a pillow has ever had. You've heard me talking about Mike Lindell's Giza Dreams bed sheets now for a couple of years. They're the perfect companion to the MyPillow. Made with the world's best cotton called Giza, grown only in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. Its long staple cotton makes it ultra soft and breathable. And just like the MyPillow, there's a 60-day money-back guarantee, 10-year warranty. Try it for yourself. Mike Lindell and I promise you'll sleep better or you get your money back. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener special, use my promo code USA. You'll get 2-for-1 pricing plus free shipping, but only by using my promo code USA, or call 1-800-951-8175 and ask for the Giza Dream Sheets special, and the promo code USA gets you up to 66% off the entire line of MyPillow products. Sleep better with the Giza Dreams bed sheets and save at MyPillow.com. Promo code USA.
Hi, this is Michael, creator of Michael's MNP supplements. Let's talk energy. Do you wake up tired even after a full night's sleep? Does keeping up with your family and or your job leave you exhausted by noon? Do you find yourself turning way too early in the day and too often to caffeine-loaded drinks just to get you through it all? Why not turn to Michael's MNP's Energy Factors instead? Our energy factors are safe, healthy, and a natural way to keep your body energized and without that caffeine crash that you get from those laden drinks. Visit us today at michaelshealth.com.
This is Pastor Greg, and I use Energy Factors. They're great. Order yours today at michaelshealth.com. That's michaelshealth.com, and use Pastor Greg for your special discount. That's Pastor Greg, and get your special discount today.
Thanks for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater. Robert Taylor, the star of this episode of the Encore Theater, a summer series sponsored by Shenley Laboratories. Robert Taylor, an American film and TV actor, one of the most popular leading men of his time. He began his career in 1934, signing with Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, Magnificent Obsession, Waterloo Bridge, Bataan. World War II, he served in the Naval Air Forces. He worked as a flight instructor. From 1959 to 1962, he starred in the series The Detective, starring Robert Taylor. And in 1966, he took over hosting duties from his friend Ronald Reagan in the series Death Valley Days. He passed away in 1969 of lung cancer. He was just 57 years of age. And now let's get to Encore Theater, as it was broadcast 75 years ago today, July 2nd, 1946.
Shenley Laboratories, producer of Penicillin Shenley and Shenley Pharmaceuticals, presents the Encore Theater. The Encore Theater play tonight, Men in White. Our star is Robert Taylor. Tonight, Shenley Laboratories presents another in a new series of great dramatic programs. Some of our stories are fact, the struggles and accomplishments of great men of medicine. Others are fiction, stories of devotion to an ideal, individual heroism or courage. By these programs, Shenley Laboratories would remind you that medical science and progress is not cold, impersonal research or pages of statistics, but a warm human story told in living terms, whether it's the life of one of medicine's immortals or the everyday record of service rendered by your own physician. And now, Men in White, starring Robert Taylor as Dr. George Ferguson. The library of St. George's Hospital, where the men in white gather to read, to smoke, and to discuss many things, primarily medicine. In a niche high on the wall is a marble bust of Hippocrates, the father of medicine, looking down in kindly benediction. At the base of the bust is engraved a quotation from his precepts.
Where the love of man is, there also is the love of the art of healing.
Good morning, Dr. Hochberg. I was looking for you.
Good morning, George.
Down in the record room this morning, the first 45 cases seem to bear you out.
What 45 cases?
What are you two up to?
Oh, Ferguson and I are doing a little research. I have some crazy notions about modern surgical technique. Ferguson's writing a paper to prove that I'm right.
As a matter of fact, Dr. Hochberg is writing the paper. I'm just helping collect the data and arrange.
You're doing all the hard work. How's 217?
Pretty restless during the night, but her temperature's down to normal now.
Good. And Ward B, bed 3?
Oh, fine. Ask for a drink of whiskey.
He'll be all right.
He is all right. I gave him the drink.
It won't hurt him.
You know, I'm beginning to think George is your prized pupil. He's definitely teacher's pet.
He's a good boy.
When are you going east, George?
In 3 months.
Looking forward to it?
You bet I am. It's more than just an opportunity to study in New York. It's going to be my honeymoon, too.
Well, you'll find it difficult mixing the two. I know the medical center.
It's going to be very difficult. You don't know Laura.
After a year in New York, I'm working with Dr. Hochberg, so the real labor won't begin till I come back.
You're probably right about that.
I want you to meet Laura. You'll be crazy about her. As a matter of fact, maybe I can bring her by here tonight. We're going out to a shindig of some sort.
Tonight?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, Ferguson, but I'm afraid you'll have to stick around tonight. I just saw 401. He's a mighty sick boy. He may need another transfusion.
Tonight?
Yeah. We have 3 donors on call.
Well, I'm sorry, Dr. Gordon, but this is my night out, and Laura's made arrangements, so I'm afraid I won't be here.
Ferguson, when the hospital needs you.
I'd like to, Dr. Hochberg, but same thing happened last week. I can't disappoint my fiance again, or I won't have any.
Can anyone else do the transfusion, Dr. Gordon?
I'm afraid not. Ferguson's followed the case from the start. He knows the veins we've used. George, I know I'm imposing, but I want this boy to have every possible chance. He's a sick boy. What do you say?
All right, Dr. Gordon. I'll stay, of course.
Thanks. If your girl kicks up a fuss, send her around to me. I'll tell her about my wife. Up at 4:30 this morning to answer the phone. Somebody had a bellyache.
Calling Dr. Gordon. Surgery. Calling Dr. Gordon.
I'll see you later, George.
It's tough, George, but I'm sure she'll understand.
I don't know whether she will or not. She's been asked to understand so much lately.
Dr. Ferguson, you're wanted in emergency immediately. A woman just came in. Serious automobile accident.
Get her up to the operating room.
Yes, Doctor.
Will you watch Dr. Hochberg?
Of course. She'll be all right, George. You did a nice job.
Oh, thanks. I was glad you were there. I feel much safer with you at my elbow.
Oh, you didn't need me at all.
Dr. Ferguson, Miss Hudson's waiting in the reception room for you.
Oh, thank you. Tell her I'll be right in. Hope I do as well with Laura, Dr. Hochberg.
Don't worry, you will. Laura loves you. And a woman in love should have an infinite capacity for understanding.
Sometimes a woman in love has an infinite capacity for misunderstanding.
Hello, darling.
Hello, monkey.
You know, it suddenly occurred to me that I haven't been kissed for 3 weeks now, and that I couldn't wait another minute. Not even until tonight.
Well, we'll take care of that right away.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, where'd you get that hat?
Well, don't you like it?
Oh, sure. It looks just like a vegetable salad.
Oh, you know, you're getting too thin and your eyes are tired.
Well, I didn't get much sleep last night. It was a pretty sick house.
I missed you last night. I went to the party, but it wasn't any fun. Didn't mean a thing without you. You know, darling, I don't seem to get a kick out of life anymore unless you're around. That's not very often, is it?
Darling, we'll make up for all of that later on, honestly.
I don't know if we can, George. Last night's gone, and, well, if I had you every minute from now on, it wouldn't be enough. I wish I'd lived all my life with you. I wish I'd been born in the same room with you and played in the same streets.
I'm glad you didn't. They were gloomy streets. They might have touched you, changed you. You know, Laura, about 7 months ago, there was a boy here who'd been blind from birth. We operated on him successfully. One night, I showed him the stars for the first time. He looked at them a moment, and he began to cry like a baby because he said they were so lovely. He might never have seen them. When I look at you, I get something of that same feeling.
Dr. Ferguson, calling Dr. Ferguson.
Don't answer it. Don't go.
It's my call. I have to go.
Well, I have to get to my hairdresser's anyhow and make myself beautiful for tonight.
Darling, I...
Oh, well, we'll have a wonderful evening all to ourselves. We'll skip the party and drive up the Hudson. There's a full moon tonight.
Laura, I can't make it tonight. I have to stay in.
Oh, no, not again.
I'm sorry. I tried to duck out of it, but I couldn't. There's a transfusion I have to do.
George, they're overworking. It isn't fair. Oh, I was planning so much on tonight. George, what's our life going to be like?
Pretty grand, I should say. Darling, don't look like that. We'll go out tomorrow night instead.
Oh, it's not just tonight. It's all the nights. George, I can take it for another 3 months, for another year and 3 months, but when we come back from New York, let's arrange our lives like human beings. You can open up an office and have regular hours and special hours.
I'll work with Hochberg, darling. I won't have the time to go into practice.
I couldn't go on this way. I just couldn't. I'd rather break off now and try to forget you.
Laura, don't ever say a thing like that.
I'd rather die quickly than by slow torture.
Dr. Ferguson, calling Dr. Ferguson.
They're calling you.
Yes, I know. Ferguson speaking. Yes. Who? South 218, yes. We'll call Dr. Cunningham. It's his case. Let him... When? What's her temperature? Pulse? Is she pale, perspiring? Did she ask for food? No more insulin. Absolutely. I'll be right down. I have to go now, Laura, and please don't worry, darling.
Don't, George. Don't kiss me.
As bad as that?
I'm afraid so, George.
Things will straighten themselves out.
Oh, will they? George, we've just got to come on to some decision.
Laura, will you please?
I mean it absolutely.
All right, then we'll come to some decision. Now, if you don't mind too much, I'll have to go. I dislike melodrama very much, but this is a matter of life and death. Put her in shock position, nurse.
Yes, sir.
Sterile glucose. Quickly. In the 30cc syringe.
Glucose, yes, sir, already.
How much?
50 grams.
Good. Half of that'll do. Apply a tourniquet right arm.
Yes, sir.
Call for hot packs and blankets. Come on, hurry it up. Let's have that glucose. Swab the arm. Never mind the iodine, just the alcohol. Thank God there's a good vein. Well, that's about all we can do.
Dr. George.
Yes, baby.
I'm thirsty. I want a drink.
Why, you bet. Give her some water, nurse.
I feel funny. Sort of dizzy. What happened?
Nothing. You fell asleep, that's all. You're going to be all right now, honey. Oh, hello, Dr. Cunningham. I didn't hear you come in.
Yes? I've been watching. That was nice work, Dr. Ferguson.
Well, thank you, Dr. Cunningham.
A doctor can always become a better one by observing better ones. I've learned something from you today, Ferguson, and I'm grateful.
July 2nd, 1946. Encore Theater. Sorry for the noise in this episode, but I think it gives a little air of authenticity to it. The news from 675 years ago today comes up next on this Friday edition of Classic Radio Theater. Classic Radio Theater friends and family, you've heard me talking about the MyPillow Premium Pillow Special, which continues now. At least at the moment, you go and click on the Radio Listener Square and use my promo code USA, and you'll get a MyPillow Premium Pillow at $60 off, $29.95 for standard or queen size kings, or $5 more. But let me tell you just a moment about what I enjoy. When I lay down on my bed, it takes me next to no time to go to sleep. And that's because I have a MyPillow not just for my head, but for the rest of my body, with my MyPillow mattress topper. You know, why spend thousands of dollars for a brand new mattress when just for a fraction of that, you can get a MyPillow mattress topper? It's an exclusive 3-layer design with a layer of MyPillow foam for support, a layer of transitional foam to help relieve pressure points, and an ultra-soft patented temperature-relieving cover. 10-year warranty, cover that's washable and dryable, made in the USA. It is backed by Mike's 60-day money-back guarantee. You don't like it, send it back, you get your money back. You can save 30% when you use my promo code USA or call 1-800-951-8175, and Mike will give you 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free. That's promo code USA or call 1-800 951-8175. Use my promo code USA. That promo code will save you up to 66% on the entire line of MyPillow products. Easiest thing, go to mypillow.com, click on the radio listener square, use my promo code USA. That's the best way to get a great deal of savings on MyPillow products. Classic radio theater on your favorite station. An episode of Encore Theater, Man in White, starring Robert Taylor, as it was originally broadcast Tuesday, June 2nd, 1946. In the newspapers of that Tuesday, 75 years ago, these were some of the headlines. The House voted a 20-day stopgap resurrection of the Office of Price Administration. The Senate expected to kill it. Prices at virtually all livestock markets approaching or surpassing their highest peaks in history. Rents went up 15 to 33.33% in some areas as OPA price controls came off. Rent up 100% in several Florida resort districts. Several states have frozen rents, though, at Office of Price Administration levels. Milk went up 3.5 cents a quart in Dallas and 2 cents in several other places, but the overall prices for most other food and merchandise remain near OPA levels. The House voting an as-you-were to the OPA until July 20th. The Senate leadership decided to use the bill as a basis for longer-range legislation, leaving price controls dead in the interim, except perhaps on rents. Russia, faced with a showdown in the Big Four Foreign Ministers Conference last night, accepted a French compromise plan under which Trieste would become an autonomous zone for 10 years. Delegates hope to receive final agreement on the zone today and call a 21-nation conference to meet about July 20th and write Axis satellite peace treaties. British government announced last night a cache of munitions so large it's not yet possible to count, even estimate the amount of ammunition and arms it contains, discovered yesterday in an underground chamber at Mash Yagur, a Jewish settlement near Haifa. The announcement came as an uneasy quiet settled over most of Palestine, and as Zionist leaders, both conservative and radical, urged Jews to remain calm in the space of mass British arrests until a course of action is plotted by Jewish officials. And in Tullahoma, Tennessee, Mrs. Tillman Hand just about to call a veterinarian in an effort to do something about the strange new disease that had attacked a rooster in her flock of chickens. A disease that had turned the rooster's toenails red. Before she made the call, her twin sons confessed they'd borrowed their sister's fingernail polish and gave the rooster a manicure. Those some of the day's top news stories as reported in the newspapers of Tuesday, July 2nd, 1946. On your radio, the Encore Theater, which continues now on Classic Radio Theater.
Better clean up that mess, nurse. Put those hypos away.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what's the matter with you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just nervous, I guess. This is my first case with a sick child. I got to like her an awful lot. I guess that was why.
I see. What's your name?
Barbara Denon.
Well, you're going to be a swell nurse, Barbara.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Ferguson.
You take my advice. I know just how you feel. Nerves all tied up in a knot. You want to yell. I feel the same way myself. You get as far away from here tonight as you can. Have a good time. Relax. Forget the hospital. Tomorrow you'll be all right.
Oh, I can't. I have an exam in Materia Medica tomorrow.
Materia Medica, huh? Say, I think I have some notes that may help you. I'll leave them with the orderly on the first floor, and you can get them on your way down.
Oh, thanks.
They might help a bit. At least you won't have to cram all night.
Dr. Ferguson. Calling Dr. Ferguson.
That's your call, Doctor.
Yes, I'll see you later.
Dr. Ferguson?
Oh, yes, Dr. Gordon.
It won't be necessary for you to stay in tonight after all. 341 died a few moments ago.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, so am I. But we did everything we could. See you later, Ferguson.
Outside wire, please. Walnut, 2990. Yes. Hello, Laura. How are you, dear? Feeling better? Oh. Well, look, darling, I can make it tonight after all. What? Don't be silly. But, darling, we'll work all that out. It's so far away yet. Oh, listen, Laura, that chance to work with Hochberg is one of the best breaks I've ever had. Don't expect me to throw it over at a moment's notice simply because you have some crazy idea that... No, darling, I don't even want to talk about it tonight. I'm tired, Laura. It's been a heck of a day. 3 operations and... Well, I can't think. I can't make an important decision tonight in a minute. Oh, Laura, what do you think you're doing? Punishing me? All right, Laura, we'll skip it tonight. I'll see you tomorrow night. Yes. Goodbye. Come in.
Excuse me, Dr. Ferguson. I'm off now, and I wondered about the notes.
The notes? Oh, yes, of course. Barbara, you don't really want to work tonight, do you?
Well, I don't suppose anyone ever really wants to work.
Maybe you're right. I sometimes wonder myself whether all this is worth the grind of working my way through college and med school.
Med school, too?
Yes.
I don't see how you kept up with classes.
Oh, I managed. Wasn't much fun, but still, I guess it's the only thing I really want to do. My dad used to say, above all is humanity. He was a fine man, my dad. Small-town physician, upstate. When I was about 13, he came to my room one night and apologized because he was going to die. His heart had gone back on him. He knew that if he gave up medicine and took it easy, he could live for 20 years, but he wanted to go right on, wanted to die in harness. And he did. Yeah. Above all else is humanity. That's a big thought. So big that alongside of it, you and I don't really matter very much. That's why we do it, I guess.
It must make you very proud to heal, to save someone's life the way you did that child's today. I don't think there's anything more important in the world.
Neither do I. We can't allow outside forces or things or people to interfere with us, can't we? We can't do it. And if they do, we've got to bar them out, even if we have to tear our hearts out to do it. Sorry, I didn't mean to get up on a soapbox.
Please don't apologize. I know exactly how you feel.
Hey, look, how about putting off the work for a couple hours and going somewhere for dinner with me? You look like an understanding sort of person, and I'm very much in need of a little understanding tonight. Will you come?
Of course I will. I'd love to come.
In a moment, we'll return to our heartwarming play, Men in White, starring Robert Taylor.
July 2nd, 1946, Encore Theater on Fridays, Classic Radio Theater. Friends, Laura Leibowitz at the International Jack Benny Fan Club is conducting a fundraiser to purchase the Maxwell that Jack rode in many movies for the fan club. Now, the International Jack Benny Fan Club is a 501c3 not-for-profit. Your donations are tax-deductible. Help preserve a slice of Jack Benny history by going online to their website, jackbenny.org. That's jackbenny.org, and help preserve the real-life Maxwell. If you enjoy our Classic Radio Theater broadcasts and want to start building a collection of your own, go to classicradio.stream. That's classicradio.stream. There you'll find links to great classic radio collections on CD, along with links to great reading on classic radio, plus Classic Radio Theater on demand. Check out our webpage, available now at classicradio.stream. That's classicradio.stream. And enjoy.
My doctor prescribed me Viagra. It wasn't covered by my insurance, so it was costing me like $65 a pill. That's expensive.
Over 20 million guys like us use Viagra. Over a certain age, we just need it. I found a way to pay less than $3 a pill and get virtually the same effect of the $65 pill. I heard an ad just like this on the radio, called, and for $99, I got 40 generic versions of the $65 pill. Save yourself money and call right now and get over 40 pills for $99. There's no embarrassment here to use Viagra. If we're over 50, we need it, but not at high prices. Call now with your credit card and get the 40 pill special for just $99.
800-993-1358. 800-993-1358. That's 800-993-1358.
The old way of living with diabetes is a pain. You've got to remember to do your testing, and you always need to be sticking your fingers. The new way to live your life with diabetes is with a continuous glucose monitor. You simply apply a discreet, easy-to-use sensor on your body, and it continuously monitors your glucose levels, helping you spend more time in range and freeing you from painful finger pricks. If you test your blood sugar at least 4 times per day and inject insulin at least 3 times per day, or use an insulin pump and have private insurance or Medicare, you might be eligible for a CGM with little or no cost to you. Call U.S. Medical Supply today for a free benefits check. We offer free shipping, 90-day supplies, and we bill Medicare or your insurance directly. Call now and say goodbye to finger pricks.
800-763-1954. 800-763-1954. 800-763-1954. That's 800-763-1954.
Saturday's Classic Radio Theater, Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden, the 4th of July at Eagle Springs from 72 years ago, July 3rd, 1949. But now the conclusion of this Friday edition of Encore Theater from 75 years ago, July 2nd, 1946.
Now, the second act of Men in White, starring Robert Taylor as Dr. Ferguson and with Gigi Pearson as Laura.
George,
Laura, what are you doing in the park?
looking for you. They told me at the hospital that you were over here taking a walk. Oh, I had to find you, George. I've been miserable these past weeks.
Well, it hasn't exactly been a picnic for me.
Have you missed me?
You know I have.
I thought I could be happy without you. I thought I could just snap my fingers and say, oh, the heck with it. But there were too many plans, too many dreams, too many memories. I never quite managed to snap my fingers at all.
Laura, darling, I've missed you like everything. I've been so darn lonely.
Why didn't you call me?
Well, pride, I guess. Heaven knows I wanted to call.
We wasted a lot of time. But we'll make up for it. We're together again. That's the most important thing in the world.
Darling. Oh, Barbara,
Hello.
I've been looking all over for you.
Do you have to break our date for dinner?
Well, no, I guess I can make that, but there is something I've got to talk to you about.
Can it wait until tonight?
Yes, I guess it can wait until tonight.
It's very quiet, George.
Yes, I know. I'm trying to think of how to tell you something.
George, these past few weeks we've been going out have been the most wonderful weeks of my life.
Well, it was very kind and good of you to go out with me to put up with my mood.
Oh, don't talk like that. I've been happy with you. As far as I'm concerned, you've been everything a girl could ever dream about. I think I fell in love with you the first time you smiled at me. After that operation. Because I can't remember anything that happened to me before that moment.
Barbara, don't. Please, Barbara, I don't know how to say this. You see, I'm engaged.
Engaged?
Yes, I have been for over a year. And that night that we went out, I'd had a quarrel with my fiance.
Oh, I see.
Oh, darling, I wouldn't have had this happen for anything.
Don't say anything else. I've had a lovely time. And thanks for the buggy ride. You don't mind if I say goodnight, do you, Joe?
Yes, I do mind. I want to talk to you.
There's nothing more to say. Funny how I thought it was the beginning of everything when I met you. It was really the end. Good night, Joe. Goodbye. George, you're going to accept the appointment to practice with Dr. Coleman, aren't you? George.
What did you say, Laura?
What is it, boy? What's wrong? You've been pacing up and down like a caged animal.
I've been here for an hour, and you barely glanced at me. You're not a very satisfactory fiance.
I'm sorry, Laura. I've got a lot of things on my mind.
He can't accept that appointment, Laura. He isn't ready for it.
Well, he will be after a year in New York.
You love George, don't you, Laura?
Well, you know I do.
Then don't influence him wrongly. George has been offered this appointment through your father's influence. You don't buy things in medicine, Laura. You earn them. A doctor's character is as important as his skill. The next 5 years are the crucial years in George's life. They're going to tell whether he becomes an important man or not.
Well, it's not as if I were going to drop my studies by going into practice, Dr. Hochberg. I'll keep on.
After all, George has worked so terribly hard until now, Hockey, and, well, this will make things easier for him.
There are no easy roads in medicine.
I didn't expect it to be easy. I counted on work, hard work.
It will be at least 10 years before you're ready for an appointment like that.
If he takes it, he'll have regular hours. We'll have some time for ourselves, Hockey.
Time?
Mm-hmm.
How? There are only 24 hours in a day. He's working with me, and if... What are you, George?
Dr. Hochberg, I haven't loafed yet. I don't intend to start now, but Laura and I are young. We love each other. I want a little more out of life than just my work. I don't think that's too much to ask.
I see. So you've decided not to come with me next year. Is that it?
Well, sir,
That's all right. You have a right to decide for yourself.
Can you come right away, Dr. Hochberg? It's an emergency. One of the staff. She took an overdose. Who is it? That nice little girl up in pediatrics, Barbara Dennon.
I'll go right up.
She's unconscious now, but she was calling for you, Dr. Ferguson.
I'll go with you if I may, Dr. Hochberg.
Come along. There's nothing more we can do, George, except wait. Gordon will call us if there's any change. Let's sit down in here a moment.
Oh, that poor kid. I never dreamt that she'd... I had to be honest with her. I had to tell her it always had been, Laura. Always would be.
You can't blame yourself. People fall in love without rhyme or reason quite often. It isn't your fault.
Dr. Hochberg, I'm going to marry Barbara Dennon. She'll have me.
George, stop talking like an idiot. Pull yourself together. What about Laura?
I've been calling her all morning. She must have guessed about Barbara. She wouldn't even come to the phone.
Well, George, in a way, that's not the worst that could have happened to you.
No, don't say that. It is.
Well, now there's work, my boy. Remember, that's the master word. Work.
I'm going to marry that girl. Going to take care of her.
Mid-Victorian idealism won't solve this problem, George.
She's human, isn't she? And she needs me. I'm going into practice immediately.
You'd give up your trip to New York?
Yes.
George, use your head. You'd ruin the rest of your life. You'd destroy your ambition, your ideals. Fill yourself with bitterness, and you'd live day and night with a woman who would grow to despise you. And... Dr. Hochberg speaking. Yes, he's here. Who? Oh, all right. Bring her up here to 106. Laura's on her way up. I'll be in Miss Dennon's room if you want me.
All right. And, Dr. Hochberg, I want you to know, whatever I do, that I appreciate all you've done for me. I know I must have sounded very ungrateful when Laura and I were talking to you.
I know. It's our instinct to live, to enjoy ourselves. All of us.
I love Laura so much. She's so full of life and fun and all the things I'd missed for so many years. I just didn't have the guts to give them up. I kidded myself out of the most important thing that ever happened to me. A chance to work with you.
Do you still want to? You can, if you do.
No, not now. I'm going to practice. If I can't make a go of that, I'll find a job at something else. I won't starve. I'll always make a living. Come in.
Hello, Laura.
Hello, Doctor.
You know where to get me if you want me, George?
Yes.
George, do you love that girl?
I love you, Laura.
How can you expect me to believe that? You've been seeing her, haven't you? Been spending evenings with her that you could have spent with me.
Laura, I went out with her that night. You refused to go out with me. You remember there were several days there that you wouldn't even talk to me, so I took her out a few times. She was a nice kid. She was someone to talk to. Oh, Laura, if I hadn't loved you, I wouldn't have asked you to come to New York with me. Alone there, I'd accomplish a lot more.
Well, you can go alone now.
No, I'm not going at all now. I'm going into practice, and I'm going to marry Barbara.
Marry her? When you're not in love with her?
Yes.
I suppose you think you're being brave and strong and making a wonderful gesture. But not. You're a coward. You're doing it because it's the easiest way out. Because you're afraid of what people might say about you. Oh, you have no backbone.
You're right, Laura. I had no backbone when I let myself be talked out of a chance to work with hockey. Maybe to do something fine someday. But right now I have no choice. And I'm not doing it because I give a hang what anybody says or thinks. I'm doing it because that girl's life is smashed, and I'm responsible, and I want to try and help her pick up the pieces and put them together again.
Oh, George. George, I knew how you felt about hockey, and I was wrong to insist. Oh, I have been selfish, but it was only because I loved you so much. Oh, George, darling, I do love you. There could never be anyone else for me.
George.
What is it?
Barbara Denon died.
What?
Oh, no.
A few minutes ago.
Oh, darling.
Couldn't you do anything, Dr. Hochberg?
She was too far gone. We were helpless. 40 years I've spent in medicine, and I couldn't help her.
Then what's the use? What good is it all? Why go on? It takes everything from you, and when you need it most, it leaves you helpless. We don't know anything. We're only guessing.
George, there isn't a man in medicine who hasn't said what you've just said and meant it for a minute. All of us, George. And you're right. We are groping. Sometimes we're guessing, but at least our guesses today are closer than they were 20 years ago. And 20 years from now, they'll still be closer. That's what we're here for. Oh, there's so much to be done and so little time in which to do it that one life is never long enough. It's not easy for any of us. But in the end, our reward is something richer than simply living. Maybe it's a kind of success that the world out there can't measure. Maybe it's a kind of glory, George. Yes, question as much as we will. When the test comes, we know, don't we, George?
Yes. Yes, we do.
We'll reduce that fracture at 10. Schedule the appendectomy at 3. The gastric ultra immediately afterward.
Yes, sir.
I'll see you later.
Oh, darling. I'm so sorry. George, let's get away from here. Let's go someplace where we can talk this thing over quietly and sanely.
No, Laura. This is where I belong.
Yes, I know it is. I understand. Well, when you come back from New York, if Hockey will let you off for a night, give me a ring. I'll be around, and well, maybe someday.
Oh, Laura, darling, I love you. If you really see things the way you say you do...
Oh, I do see.
Well, then marry me and come with me to New York and help me, Laura.
Thanks for asking me. Oh, I'd love to.
Dr. Ferguson. Calling Dr. Ferguson.
They're calling you?
Yeah. Will you be here when I get through?
I'll be here whenever you get through.
Now, here's the star of tonight's play, Robert Taylor. Ladies and gentlemen, to sum up the spirit of the Shenley Laboratories program, this simple and beautiful prayer of the physician, written centuries ago by Maimonides, seems to me apt and fitting. The eternal providence has appointed me to watch over the life and death of all thy creatures. May I always see in the patient a fellow creature in pain. Grant me strength and opportunity always to extend the domain of my craft. This is the prayer of the physician. It is ages old, yet today it is as new as the hope for a peaceful way of life for all the world. May we invite you to listen again next week at the same time when Shenley Laboratories presents White Angel, starring Virginia Bruce, a great star in a great story. Good night.
Men in White by Sidney Kingsley was produced and directed by Bill Lawrence. It was a Gene Holloway adaptation. Robert Taylor appeared by arrangement of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, producers of the Technicolor musical Easy to Wed. This is Frank Graham speaking for Shenley Laboratories, producer of Penicillin Shenley, and inviting you to listen to the Encore Theater next Tuesday at the same time when you will hear Virginia Bruce in White Angel. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Sandwiched between Inner Sanctum Mysteries and Your American Music at 8:30. The episode of Encore Theater, July 2nd, 1946. I'm running out of time. The website is classicradio.stream. That is classicradio.stream, and you can find all of our information there. Remember, folks, thank this station, support the advertisers, tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater on your favorite station and the USA Radio Network.